All of this goes back to your friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. How did you first become friends? How did you meet?
Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 20 British TV moments that shocked the world.
So we are, in fact, going over. This is, as they say, it.
I'm afraid so, unless I can think of something very quickly.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. For this list, we'll be looking at television moments in the UK that were unexpected, surprising, and unbelievable. Let us know in the comments which one you never saw coming. Number 20. Dogs might fly.
There he goes.
Insane.
That's history right there.
Incredible.
You may have seen memes about this without realizing it's A, an actual show, and B, was made in the UK. But back in 2016, Jamie Theakston presented this show where a dozen stray dogs were taken in and taught to be pilots. Dogs are roughly as intelligent as a 2-year-old, definitely smart for an animal, but would you trust a 2-year-old to fly a plane?
Good watch, good boy.
Okay, next one turn to Ryder.
Probably not. But you probably also wouldn't trust a 2-year-old to guide a blind person, and dogs manage that alright.
Shadow nails turn 2, but next is the first of the key maneuvers.
In the end, the dog did fly the plane, though it didn't take off or land, and luckily, nobody died in a dog-related plane crash. Number 19. The National Anthem, Black Mirror. Now this is the first of many TV moments so shocking we actually can't show it to you. But we don't need to because you know what we're talking about. In the very first episode of Black Mirror, the plot hinges around the Prime Minister, Rory Kinnear, being told he must have a liaison with a pig on live television to save the life of a beloved princess. This was shocking enough, but then, in 2015, the notorious Piggate scandal happened, where Prime Minister David Cameron was alleged to have done something similar as part of an Oxford initiation ceremony. Given that Black Mirror has since become globally popular, this bizarre scandal has been astoundingly immortalized by Charlie Brooker. Number 18. Skins debut, Skins.
Time to get drunk.
Your turn.
For all of Skins' controversies, at least it only ever featured humans sleeping with other humans, even if they were teenagers at the time and not with any pigs. The fact they were all real teenage actors was what made Skins so shocking at the beginning though.
Chill out, Sid. I'm chilled, right? Why are you so chilled? Because I'm confident and relaxed with my ability to improvise.
Here were real kids, some only 16 years old, doing things on TV that most people in the country couldn't think of, with some speaking out since about the toll it took on them.
I'm afraid you can't take your exams here.
Are you saying I'm being expelled?
I prefer the term no longer permanently affiliated.
Why?
It's less discouraging.
It was massively controversial, but a global phenomenon, even getting a terrible US remake, with newspapers up in arms about teens apparently having skins parties to recreate the hedonism of the show. Number 17. Phillip Schofields' resignation.
Firstly, are you okay? I hope so. Feels very strange indeed sitting here without Phil.
This didn't happen on TV, but it was the result of numerous scandals, and it focused on one of the UK's top-paid television stars.
In a statement, Mr. Schofield said he had lied about the relationship to ITV as well as his agents, lawyers and family.
In 2023, Phillip Schofield announced he was resigning from This Morning after decades in the job, and then there were further revelations about him having an affair with a much younger male colleague.
You, me and all of us at This Morning gave our love and support to someone who was not telling the truth.
Everyone from Elton John to Jeremy Clarkson made public comments about the scandal, and ITV's CEO was brought before MPs. Though Schofield isn't well known beyond Blighty, the scandal got so intense that other countries couldn't help but wonder what all the fuss was about. The New York Times and Vogue even wrote about it.
The relationship, he says, was unwise but not illegal. It is now over.
Number 16. Jerry Springer, The Opera. As this was a British musical tackling a distinctly American subject matter, it was a little surprising that this took off at all. Maybe a Jeremy Kyle musical would have made more sense.
Bring on the clan.
Regardless, Jerry Springer, the opera, written by comedian Stuart Lee, was a landmark event in British TV owing to BBC Two's decision to broadcast it. They landed over 50,000 Ofcom complaints, making it one of the most complained about broadcasts in British history.
I've been shot.
Not only was it shocking that it got onto TV, but its subject matter in general wasn't suitable for all, with jokes about fetishes, murder, and the KKK.
This is our Jerry Springer moment.
Number 15, Tommy Cooper's death, live from Her Majesty's.
Well, with me now is a friend of Tommy Cooper's who worked with him and known him for years, Ernie Wise.
We won't show the actual footage as this might be upsetting to some. After all, it's not often that someone passes away live on television, but that was precisely what happened to popular comedy magician Tommy Cooper in 1984. Cooper had a heart attack in front of the studio audience and the entire nation watching at home, with everyone believing it was part of his act when he collapsed.
You were watching last night too, Ernie?
Yes, I was watching the show last night and thoroughly enjoying it.
Efforts to revive him behind the scenes were unsuccessful, and the show went on.
And then gradually I thought, well, he's not moving, and I thought, well, there must be something wrong.
However, some of his contemporaries said that if Tommy had to go, he would have wanted to go out while still making people laugh, which is certainly what happened. Number 14, Over the Top, Blackadder.
Gentlemen, our long wait is nearly at an end. Tomorrow morning, General Insanity Melchett invites you to a mass slaughter. We're going over the top.
There were a lot of skeptics when Blackadder decided to go to the First World War for its final series. Many war veterans were still alive, and there was worry that such a serious event wouldn't be handled as deftly as it should be in a comedy program.
Thank God. We lived through it. The Great War, 1914 to 1917. Hip hip! Hooray!
Of course, this isn't what happened, and the ending of the final episode of Blackadder Goes Forth has gone down in history as a legendary TV moment, though it remains shocking and heartbreaking decades later. The main characters are all ordered to leave their trench and go over the top, charging the German lines and likely dying in the process. Then the screen slowly fades to poppy fields. Number 13, Prince Andrew Tells All, Newsnight. Until this fateful interview in 2019, it's possible most people in the UK didn't really care about Prince Andrew, the Queen's second son, let alone the rest of the world.
I'd taken Beatrice to a Pizza Express in Woking for a party.
The interview was conducted to clear up Andrew's involvement in the Jeremy Epstein scandal, after allegations made against him by one of Epstein's victims.
There's a slight problem with the sweating because I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat.
Despite Andrew reportedly thinking he came across very well, when the interview went out on Newsnight, it was a disaster.
Because she was very specific. She described the dance that you had together in Tramp. She described meeting you. She was a 17-year-old girl.
He claimed he'd been at Pizza Express at the time of the incident and that her testimony must be false as he was unable to sweat. Now disgraced, Andrew has been kept away from the public life ever since.
She provided a photo of the two of you together.
Yes.
Your arm was around her waist.
Yes.
Number 12, Naked Attraction.
As a mother of teenage daughters, I'm actually really concerned about the message this programme is sending out.
It's not necessarily a single moment, but more the entire existence of Naked Attraction, which still baffles Brits and non-Brits alike. If you've ever had to explain the concept of naked attraction to somebody who hasn't seen it, they'll be mind blown that this is allowed to be on television at all.
How did you find the experience, Rob?
Yeah, I found it quite good. I felt like, because of my body, like more like self because I was quite body conscious about myself. So doing it for me, I got more confidence within my body.
But it is, and many moments involving shallow pickers, overconfident strippers, and maybe a few medical mysteries will stick in your mind forever, having seen them.
You'd rather know right from the start whether the girl liked
I felt like accepted going on, you know, in front of people. And you know what? It's you know, it's educational as well. It's good on there. There's facts on there as well.
Of course, we can't really show you any of it for obvious reasons. The X-rated clips are too shocking even for this list. Number 11, 0 points on Eurovision. Eurovision Song Contest 2003. The Eurovision Song Contest. The UK has won Eurovision a fair few times, though never in the 21st century. But even though Britain has put out infamously poor performances in the last few decades, none have come close to the 2003 entry. Cry Baby, performed by Gemini, went down like a lead balloon. The issue was that Gemini were singing completely off-key, which they said was because of a malfunction meant they couldn't hear their own backing track. Regardless of the reason, it was the only time the United Kingdom ever received 0 points in Eurovision, and was so bad the singer's dressing room actually got vandalised. Britain has been licking its wounds ever since. Number 10, Sharon Osbourne throws water at Louis Walsh. The X Factor.
I think they've got great voices, but this song, it was a lazy choice, Simon. I don't know why you...
While giving his verdict on the song choice in one X Factor performance, Louis got Sharon laughing, and by the time it was her turn to talk, she hadn't stopped. This prompted a contentious joke from Walsh about whether she'd been borrowing any of Ozzy Osbourne's substances of choice, which Sharon didn't take kindly to.
Taking Ozzy's drugs?
I need drugs! He's like, don't you bring my husband, Louis!
It was clearly all in good fun, and nobody was actually offended, but she still doused Louis in 2 full glasses of water for good measure in front of a cheering audience. Finally, Sharon was able to give her criticism, but it was difficult to hear what any of them said over the leery crowd. Number 9, Cilla Black quits live on air. Blind Date. After 18 years, it finally became time for national treasure Cilla Black to call it a night on Blind Date. Hosted by her for the duration of its run, when Cilla found out there was talk of changing the formula due to falling ratings, she announced that the 2003 series was going to be her last ever live on air.
It is a very special live show because this is going to be my very, very last series of Blind Date.
But not only were the viewing public and studio audience unaware that Cilla was calling it quits, but so was the entire production staff.
Isn't it a shame? I've had great fun for 18 years.
In fact, an ITV executive even had to come out and explain that the show was nearing its end after Cilla's shock announcement, which also happened to be Blind Date's first ever live episode. Number 8, Will Young wins Pop Idol. Pop Idol.
Time's up. The moment the nation has been waiting for. We have the results.
One of the earliest national talent shows was Pop Idol, though it only ran for 2 series in the UK. Still, its influence can't be understated, and the moment at the end of the Series 1 where Will Young was crowned the winner is legendary.
The winner of Pop Idol 2002 is Will!
He beat Gareth Gates to the crown in the public vote with roughly 500,000 votes in his favour. But perhaps the most shocking thing about Pop Idol is that both of the finalists went on to have solid musical careers. Though Will Young has been more successful than Gates in general, Gates certainly hasn't faded into obscurity, a fate which awaits the contestants of many singing competitions.
Do it for you.
Number 7, The Fall, Sherlock. In Conan Doyle's stories, Sherlock and Moriarty finally come to blows on a cliff's edge at the Reichenbach Falls, after which Sherlock plummets to his doom. A similar thing happened in the Series 2 finale of Sherlock, where Sherlock jumps, seemingly to his death, from the top of St. Bart's Hospital. But at the very end of the episode, it was revealed to the audience that Sherlock wasn't dead at all. It was so shocking that years of international fan speculation took over the internet. Theories about how Sherlock survived became inescapable.
Old friend. Now look, seriously, could you just... Interesting thing, a tuxedo.
And then, after all that, another shock followed. Stephen Moffat opted to never explain what happened and openly mocked the viewers who cared so much. Number 6. Katie Price and Peter Andre. I'm a celebrity, get me out of here. History was made in 2004 when glamour model Katie Price, still going by Jordan at the time, met superstar Peter Andre.
You can see you're physically attracted to her. You definitely want a piece of cake.
Viewers were quick to notice the flirting and chemistry, which led to a 5-year relationship between Price and Andre, who ended up having kids together. Katie Price remains one of the most famous people in the UK, love her or hate her, while Andre is globally recognisable.
It's all good, I just gotta chat to you, I've gotta chat to you today and then...
But seeing their romance develop in real time on the daily episodes of I'm a Celeb was a surreal experience for the British public, to say the least. With the show still in its early days, it definitely wasn't what anybody expected.
I have to in here because of you know why.
Number 5. Sam Ryder, Eurovision Song Contest 2022. We already saw the UK's pitiful 2003 Eurovision entrant, and who can forget that we got null point again in 2021.
If I was an astronaut, I'd be floating in midair.
But that all changed the following year when we entered Sam Ryder as our song, and finally, Eurovision success was within our grasp.
I'm up in space.
We came second after the public vote's massive outpouring of support for Ukraine, and the following year, Eurovision came to Liverpool. Who knows when the show will come back to Britain again, or if the UK will finally start submitting serious entries. But it was certainly spectacular to witness us climb the scoreboard. It turns out that if we submit a song people like, we might actually do well. Number 4. Piers Morgan quits. Good Morning Britain. Following the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's controversial interview with Oprah Winfrey, Piers Morgan, as usual, couldn't keep his thoughts to himself.
The first part of that allegation, we don't know any of the details or who said it or how they said it. And the second one is completely untrue. Meghan just got it wrong.
But apparently the public was outraged when Piers took issue with Meghan Markle, saying she'd experienced severe mental health difficulties during her time as a senior member of the royal family, which he said he didn't believe. He was called out for this by weatherman Alex Beresford live on air, but after some criticism from Beresford, Piers stormed out of the studio.
OK, I'm done with this.
No.
Sorry, no. Sorry.
Do you know what? That's pathetic.
You can trash me, mate, but not my own
No.
stuff. See you later.
I'm being...
Sorry, can't do this.
The following day, he announced he was quitting GMB for good, becoming the recipient of a record-breaking 41,000 complaints to Ofcom.
There are many voices on GMB, and everyone has their say. But now Piers has decided to leave the programme.
Number 3, Julian Clary on Norman Lamont, British Comedy Awards.
Who better than the man never known to go for a single entendre when a good solid double would do? Please welcome Julian Clary.
Successful British comedy is often edgy, controversial, and pushes the boundaries of what's acceptable. But Julian Clary pushed those boundaries a little too soon when he appeared on the British Comedy Awards in 1993. He told a very blunt joke about getting up to no good with Norman Lamont, a Tory MP at the time, backstage.
As a matter of fact, I've just been Norman Lamont.
Lamont himself was in the audience, and Clary spotted him and decided to poke some fun because he wasn't a fan of his politics.
Just clawed my way through.
Yeah. Are we still on?
Though the joke went down a storm with the other comics and actors in the room, it caught the ire of the tabloids, and he soon found his career floundering as a result. Number 2, Susan Boyle, Britain's Got Talent.
And how old are you, Susan?
I am 47.
When Susan Boyle walked onto the stage on Britain's Got Talent, nobody expected her to give arguably the most iconic performance on any British talent show in history.
I dreamed a dream in time gone by.
It was clear that, because of her overconfidence in her own abilities and unassuming appearance, the audience, judges, and even Ant and Dec thought she was going to give an embarrassing audition. But of course, it turned out she wasn't overconfident at all, because she was incredibly talented. Giving a fantastic rendition of I Dreamed a Dream from Les Mis, jaws dropped and tears flowed across the nation. Even Simon had nothing but praise for Subo, who's gone on to have a wildly successful singing career. Number 1, Princess Diana interviewed. Panorama.
You couldn't indulge in feeling sorry for yourself. You had to either sink or swim.
Insights into the royal family are far more common today than they ever were in the 1990s, thanks to social media and Netflix's The Crown. But in 1995, Princess Diana made history by providing an incredibly rare and highly critical look into the lives of the aristocracy when she gave a tell-all interview on Panorama.
You'd wake up in the morning feeling you didn't want to get out of bed, you felt misunderstood.
She opened up about her eating disorder and other mental health struggles, what she wanted for her sons William and Harry, and even how she felt about Prince Charles's relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles.
Do you think Mrs. Parker Bowles was a factor in the breakdown of your marriage?
Well, there were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded.
It was scathing and shed light on the inner workings of the royals, which the British public rarely gets to see. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojoUK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.